In the cold, silent darkness beyond the fringes of the Andromeda sector, the once mighty Zatrax Armada drifted like a shattered constellation. Great warships, once gleaming symbols of conquest, now floated crippled and lifeless, their hulls scarred by battle and betrayal. The endless void seemed to swallow their dying cries, the eerie silence broken only by the faint hum of failing systems. Commander Varkos stood on the bridge of the flagship Dominion's Wrath, staring at the starfield ahead, his face etched with lines of exhaustion and disbelief. Around him, the remaining officers whispered urgently, their voices trembling with a mix of fear and frustration. The Armada was fractured, losing ship after ship to an enemy no one could identify, no one could fight. Entire squadrons vanished without a trace, swallowed by an invisible terror. Status report. Varkos's voice cut through the tension like a blade. 2 cruisers lost in the last hour, sir, reported Lieutenant Karras, her hands flying over the holographic control panel. Power grids failing, shields down to 30%. Our fighters are nearly all destroyed. The commander clenched his jaw. The Zatrax had dominated countless star systems, their brutal tactics feared across galaxies. Yet now, faced with this unknown enemy, they were helpless, like prey cornered by a shadow. A faint flicker caught Varkos's eye on the long-range scanner. A signal, weak and irregular, pulsed through the emptiness. It was unlike anything they'd encountered before, a pattern too complex to be random, yet too deliberate to be a distress beacon. Signal detected, said the communications officer, voice laced with cautious hope. It's coming from deep within uncharted space. Varkos frowned, stepping closer. Analyze it. Could it be a trap? We don't know yet, sir, but it's definitely not Zatrax. The bridge fell into uneasy silence. The Zatrax Armada was dying, and here was someone, calling out from the void. A faint beacon flickering like a dying star, but with a strange pulse that hinted at life, or at least intelligence. Prepare a reconnaissance drone. Varkos ordered. Send it to intercept the signal. We must know what it is, friend or foe. Outside, through the thick armored glass, stars shimmered cold and distant. Somewhere beyond, hidden in the shadows, the fate of the Zatrax Armada was quietly unfolding. Meanwhile, light years away on a small blue planet called Earth, a team of scientists stared at their own monitors, captivated by the strange signal that had just crossed the galaxy and whispered across the vacuum of space. Dr. Lena Morales, lead astrophysicist at the International Space Observatory, traced the signal with wide eyes. This isn't just noise, she murmured. It's a message, and it's repeating. Her colleagues exchanged nervous glances. The world's governments had long debated the possibility of alien contact, but no one expected it to arrive like this, fragile, cryptic, yet undeniably real. We need to decode this, Lena said, her voice steady but filled with awe. This could change everything. As the signal pulsed steadily in the background, no one could guess that this mysterious beacon was the first spark in a chain of events that would decide the fate of 2 civilizations, and perhaps the entire galaxy. Deep within the sprawling halls of the International Space Observatory, the atmosphere was thick with anticipation and a hint of fear. Dr. Lena Morales sat hunched over her console, fingers flying as she worked tirelessly to decipher the enigmatic signal streaming in from the depths of space. The signal was unlike anything Earth had ever encountered. Pulsing with a rhythm that suggested intelligence, it was encoded in a pattern neither random nor immediately understandable. Lena's breath hitched as the data began to reveal fragments of an alien language, mathematical sequences, star charts, even coordinates. Most astonishing of all, it contained what appeared to be an invitation. An invitation? Her colleague Dr. Amir Patel asked, eyebrows furrowed as he peered over her shoulder. Lena nodded, her eyes gleaming with a mixture of disbelief and excitement. It's like they're reaching out, asking for contact. But why us? And why now? News of the discovery leaked quickly, sending ripples of unease and hope across Earth's governments and military leaders. Emergency meetings were convened, debates raging late into the night. Some saw a historic opportunity for peace and cooperation. Others warned of an ambush, of walking blindly into the jaws of destruction. "Are we prepared to meet an alien armada?" asked General Marcus Caldwell, during a tense briefing. His voice was sharp, edged with skepticism and caution. "We have no choice," replied Dr. Elena Rees, a top diplomat. "If we ignore this, we risk being left behind, or worse, seen as a threat." Outside, media frenzy exploded. Social feeds buzzed with theories, fears, and hopes. The world held its breath. Meanwhile, Lena and her team raced against the clock. The alien language's complexity revealed something extraordinary. The Armada was crippled, stranded at the edge of known space, desperate for allies. The coordinates embedded in the signal pointed to a remote, uncharted sector, precisely where ancient star maps hinted at the Zytrax Armada's last known location. The realization struck hard. Humanity was about to make first contact, not with a thriving empire, but a fleet on the brink of extinction. "We have to respond," Lena urged, "but with caution. We must show we come in peace." After heated negotiations, the United Earth Council authorized a bold plan: send a small envoy aboard the Starship Unity, equipped with diplomatic experts, scientists, and a small defense team. As Unity prepared for launch, Lena stood in the observatory's viewing gallery, eyes fixed on the night sky. The stars twinkled cold and distant, yet tonight they seemed alive, with possibility, danger, and destiny intertwined. The countdown began. Back on the Zytrax flagship, General Varkos watched the signal from Earth. Conflicted emotions flickered across his hardened face, hope mingling with suspicion. Could these fragile humans truly be the salvation his dying armada needed? Or was this just the beginning of a deeper trap? Across the void, the faint pulse of Earth's response traveled swiftly, threading its way through space-time. Unseen, unheard by most, the cosmos held its breath. What no one yet realized was that this first contact would shake the foundations of everything both sides believed. It would challenge loyalties, test courage, and reveal secrets that could unravel the fate of entire worlds. The Starship Unity sat poised on the edge of Earth's atmosphere, its sleek hull gleaming under the artificial lights of the launch bay. Inside, a small but diverse crew moved with quiet determination. Scientists, diplomats, and military personnel filled the vessel's corridors, each carrying the weight of humanity's hopes and fears on their shoulders. Captain Elias Grant paced the command deck, eyes flicking over data streams and star charts. The mission was unprecedented, to reach out to an alien armada on the verge of collapse. The stakes were unimaginable. One wrong move could ignite a war that would engulf Earth, or worse, lead to humanity's extinction. "Are we really ready for this?" whispered Lieutenant Zara Kim, the ship's communications officer, as she calibrated the encryption for their outgoing message. Grant met her gaze, his voice steady but tinged with doubt. "We don't have a choice. If the Zytrax want contact, we answer. If we don't, someone else will, and we'll be left in the dark." In the observation lounge, Dr. Lena Morales joined the crew, her eyes reflecting a mix of awe and anxiety, as she stared into the endless blackness beyond the viewport. "This is history in the making," she said softly. "We're the first humans to step into the unknown." The atmosphere was electric but fragile. Tensions simmered beneath the surface, between the hopeful idealists and the cautious pragmatists. The mission's success depended on more than technology. It hinged on trust, diplomacy, and sheer luck. As Unity slipped away from Earth, breaking free of its protective cradle, a silent broadcast began, a message crafted with care, empathy, and a plea for peace. "Greetings from Earth," the message began, spoken in carefully decoded fragments of Zytrax language, accompanied by images of Earth's oceans, mountains, and people. "We come in friendship, seeking to understand and to help." The transmission sent ripples through space, threading its way toward the battered Zytrax fleet. But aboard the Dominion's Wrath, General Varkos stared at the incoming message with a hardened frown. His war-hardened instincts screamed warning. This had to be a trap. "Show me every possible scenario," he barked. "They want something. But what?" His second-in-command, Commander Sella, hesitated. Sir, their message carries no aggression. It is unprecedented. Unprecedented doesn't mean safe. Varkos growled. Prepare our defenses. If they try anything, if this is an ambush, we will not go down quietly. The Unity approached the coordinates slowly, every moment filled with electric tension. Sensors picked up the ragged silhouette of the Zytrax flagship looming ahead, a fortress in the void, battered but unyielding. In the sterile calm of the conference room, Earth's envoy prepared for the first face-to-face communication with an alien commander who had destroyed countless worlds. Remember, Captain Grant reminded them, they are desperate. That can make them dangerous or open to reason. The silence was shattered by the sharp crackle of alien speech, transmitted in a voice both grating and commanding. This is General Varkos of the Zytrax Armada, the alien voice declared. State your purpose. Grant took a deep breath, stepping forward. We come in peace, to offer aid, to forge an alliance against a common enemy. On the bridge of the Dominion's wrath, Varkos's eyes narrowed. Aid? From humans? Why now? Because we have a stake in the future, Grant replied steadily. Because your enemy threatens us all. And because even the strongest need allies. For a long, tense moment, the void between the ships felt heavier than the vacuum itself. The question hung in the air. Would this reckless gamble pay off? Or would it ignite the final battle? The void between the Unity and the Zytrax flagship Dominion's wrath was a vast emptiness where silence held the weight of 1,000 unspoken fears. Stars twinkled coldly around the two ships, their metal hulls reflecting distant light like bruised giants in a cosmic battlefield. Inside Unity's command deck, Captain Elias Grant and his crew prepared for what might be the most dangerous encounter in human history. The alien vessel was scarred by battle, its once pristine armor now marred with deep gouges and smoking craters. No one knew if the Zytrax would welcome them or obliterate them without a second thought. Engage communication array, Grant ordered, voice steady, but laced with tension. Let's hear what they have to say. Static filled the airwaves, then broke into a harsh, guttural voice that echoed through the speakers. General Varkos's tone was cold, sharp, a warlord accustomed to command and conquest. Speak quickly, humans. Why do you cross into Zytrax space with your fragile vessel? Grant stepped forward, his eyes locked on the flickering screen where Varkos's alien visage materialized, rough, scarred, yet unmistakably fierce. We come as allies, Grant replied. Your fleet is under threat from an enemy none of us can face alone. We offer knowledge, technology, and partnership. Varkos's eyes narrowed. Why should we trust you? Your kind has never crossed the void before. You could be the enemy who finished us. We are not your enemies, Lena Morales added, her voice calm but urgent. We intercepted your signal, understood your distress, and risked everything to answer. We want to survive. Together. For a moment, the two leaders were locked in a silent battle, their worlds separated by centuries of conflict and cosmic distance. Suspense thickened the air as the silence stretched. Then, unexpectedly, Varkos lowered his weapon systems, a signal of tentative trust. Very well. Show me your intentions. What followed was a delicate dance of diplomacy and technology. Unity transmitted holographic images of Earth, vast oceans, bustling cities, forests glowing with life. The humans shared data on their science, their hopes, their vulnerability. Varkos's expression softened, not out of friendship, but recognition of a shared desperation. Suddenly, alarms blared across the Dominion's wrath. Incoming sensor readings. Unidentified ships approaching fast. A lieutenant shouted. Varkos's face hardened instantly. Neelas. The shadowy faction that had torn the Armada apart was near again, relentless and merciless. Human envoy Varkos growled, Your arrival is timely, but the danger grows. We must prepare for battle or risk annihilation. Grant nodded grimly. Then we fight together. The moment shifted from tense diplomacy to urgent alliance. The fragile trust forged in the silent void would be tested by war and betrayal. As the two fleets edged closer, The stars around them seemed to dim, as if the cosmos itself sensed the storm gathering. In the shadows beyond, the true enemy watched and waited, ready to strike when least expected. The starry expanse trembled under the gathering storm. Aboard the Dominion's wrath, the uneasy alliance between humans and Zytrax grew strained as whispers of betrayal crawled through the dimly lit corridors. General Varkos paced his command chamber, his gaze sharp as he studied the latest intelligence reports. The Nihilas, the shadowy saboteurs responsible for crippling his armada, were more elusive and dangerous than anyone had imagined. Worse still, recent scans revealed irregular communications coming from within their own fleet. "Someone among us is feeding the Nihilas," Varkos growled, slamming a fist against the console. "A traitor." The revelation sent ripples of paranoia through the ranks. Officers exchanged wary glances, trust fraying like old rope under the weight of suspicion. On Unity, Captain Elias Grant and Dr. Lena Morales convened with Zytrax leaders in a tense war council. The room was heavy with uncertainty. "We cannot fight an enemy we cannot see," Lena said, her voice steady but filled with urgency. "If there is a traitor aboard the Zytrax fleet, they will bring ruin to us all." Commander Sella, Varkos' second-in-command, nodded grimly. "Our enemies strike from within, poisoning our defenses and sabotaging our ships. We must root them out before it's too late." The humans and Zytrax began a painstaking investigation, sifting through crew logs, communications, and sensor data. Every whispered conversation became a thread in a dangerous web of deceit. Meanwhile, in the shadows, the traitor moved with chilling precision. A cloaked figure slipped through the labyrinthine corridors of the Dominion's wrath, planting false data and sabotaging key systems. Each act of treachery edged the fleet closer to destruction. Back on Unity, tensions flared as accusations mounted. Some Zytrax officers eyed the humans with suspicion, questioning their true motives. Meanwhile, humans grappled with cultural divides and the terrifying reality that they had sailed into a war zone filled with enemies seen and unseen. Just as the War Council was about to fracture under pressure, a breakthrough came, a hidden transmission intercepted by Lieutenant Zara Kim. "The Nihilas are planning a massive strike," Zara reported breathlessly. "They'll hit our command ship in less than 12 hours. The room exploded with frantic activity. Plans were drawn up to defend the flagship and root out the traitor before the assault. General Varkos stared at the faces around him, some loyal, some doubtful, all desperate. "This alliance is fragile," he said quietly, "but it is our only hope. We will find the traitor. We will survive." As preparations for battle intensified, the crew of both ships felt the weight of impending doom. Every second counted. Every choice could mean life or obliteration. In the dark corridors, the traitor smiled beneath a hidden mask. The game was far from over. The Dominion's wrath thrummed with the anxious energy of a fleet on the edge of war. Systems flickered sporadically, shadows lurked in every corner, and every officer knew that a deadly game was unfolding beneath the surface. Captain Elias Grant stood beside General Varkos in the dimly lit command chamber, their uneasy alliance now tempered by shared urgency. Together, they watched the sensor feeds, waiting for the Nihila strike to arrive. Suddenly, alarms shattered the silence, sharp, urgent blares that echoed through the ship's steel spine. "Breach detected in engineering." A voice crackled over the comms. "Sabotage in the reactor core." Chaos erupted as emergency teams scrambled to contain the damage. Fires ignited in the labyrinthine corridors, threatening to spread. "Seal all bulkheads. Find the saboteur," Varkos barked, his voice ironclad. In the chaos, Lieutenant Zara Kim worked furiously, tracing digital fingerprints left behind in the sabotage's wake. Her fingers danced across the console as fragments of encrypted data surfaced, pointing to a name: Commander Thalix. The revelation sent a shockwave through the Alliance. Thalix was one of Varkos' most trusted officers, a brilliant strategist known for his unwavering loyalty. "Impossible," Sella whispered, eyes wide. "He would never betray us." But the evidence was undeniable. Thalix had been feeding intelligence to the Nihilas for months, orchestrating attacks from within. As the battle alarms rang out, Grant and Varkos confronted the traitor in a tense standoff. "You've doomed your people, Thalix," Varkos said, his voice cold and unforgiving. "Why betray your own fleet?" Thalix's expression was a twisted mask of bitterness. "You do not understand. The Armada is already lost. The Nihilars offer power, survival through domination. You cling to a dying dream." Before they could react, Thalix activated a hidden device, triggering an emergency lockdown that sealed the command chamber. "We are finished," Thalix sneered, "but you will watch as the fleet falls." Outside, the Nihilar ships surged forward like spectral wolves, their dark shakes blotting out distant stars. Unity and the remaining Zatrax vessels readied for the onslaught, weapons charging, shields humming with energy. Grant's voice was steady over the comms. "Hold the line. We fight for survival." As the Nihilar fleet closed in, the Alliance braced for a battle that would determine the fate of the galaxy. But in the shadows of the Dominion's wrath, the true war was just beginning, a war of trust, betrayal, and the fragile hope that even in darkness, light could be found. The void exploded with chaos as the Nihilar fleet surged forward in a deadly tide, their ships sleek and menacing, bristling with weaponry designed to annihilate entire worlds. The combined forces of Unity and the battered Zatrax Armada prepared for a battle unlike any seen before. On the bridge of the Unity, Captain Elias Grant gripped the controls tightly, his eyes darting between sensor readouts and tactical displays. The humans and Zatrax fought side by side, their mistrusts simmering beneath the surface, but overridden by the raw necessity of survival. "Shields at maximum," Lieutenant Zarakin reported. "Enemy fire incoming in T-30 seconds." The starship's hull vibrated violently as plasma bolts streaked past, lighting the darkness with deadly arcs of energy. Explosions rocked the fleet, sending debris tumbling through space like shards of glass. General Varkos stood tall on the Dominion's Wrath's command deck, barking orders with fierce determination. The Zatrax were far from the invincible conquerors they once were, but their resolve burned brighter than ever. "Focus fire on the lead Nihilar frigates," Varkos commanded. "Break their formation." The battle became a deadly dance of lasers, missiles, and electronic warfare. Ships twisted and spun, dodging blasts that could tear them apart. Amid the chaos, a hidden Nihilar dreadnought emerged from the shadows, unleashing a barrage that crippled several Zatrax vessels. Suddenly, the Dominion's wrath shook violently, the result of a targeted strike on its energy core. Alarms blared, and the crew scrambled to stabilize the reactor. In the chaos, Grant spotted an opportunity. "Zara, prepare an ion pulse. We'll disrupt their weapon systems." The ion pulse fired, a brilliant wave of energy rippling through the battlefield, momentarily silencing enemy turrets. The Zatrax fleet seized the moment, pressing the attack. But as victory seemed within reach, an unexpected transmission crackled through the comms. Thalix's voice. "You think you've won," he taunted. "I've activated a failsafe, a weapon hidden within the Dominion's wrath. It will destroy us all if we try to escape." Varkos's face twisted in fury and despair. "You traitorous worm. We will end you." The countdown began. Seconds ticked away as engineers raced to disable the weapon. Lena Morales led the effort, her hands steady despite the pressure. "Disarming the system will take time," she warned. "We need to buy them that time." Grant nodded. "Then we hold the line." With renewed fury, the Allied fleet fought back with everything they had, pushing the Nihilars into retreat. Finally, just as the countdown neared zero, Lena's team succeeded. The hidden weapon powered down, and the threat passed. Breathless and battered, the fleet hovered in the aftermath. The price was high, many ships lost, countless lives shattered. But the Alliance had survived. Yet, as Captain Grant looked out over the stars, he knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was a darker place than they had imagined. The Nihilars would return, and next time, the stakes would be even higher. The vast battlefield had fallen silent, save for the distant echoes of drifting debris and the flickering hum of damaged starships. The combined forces of Earth and Zatrax floated among the ruins of what had been a desperate struggle for survival. Captain Elias Grant stood on the observation deck of the Unity, staring out into the endless darkness. The stars seemed colder now, but his resolve burned hotter than ever. They had won the battle, but the war was far from over. Suddenly, a faint signal interrupted the fragile calm. It was weak, almost lost amid the static, but unmistakable, a transmission from deep space, beyond the known borders of the galaxy. Dr. Lena Morales leaned over the console, eyes wide with disbelief. This signal, it's artificial, not Zatrax, not Nihila, something else, something ancient. General Varkos joined them, his grim expression flickering with curiosity and unease. Could it be another alien race? Grant activated the ship's long-range scanners. The source was a distant dark star system, a place shrouded in mystery and forgotten by time. "We have to investigate," Grant said, voice low but resolute. This could change everything. As the fleet prepared to set course, an urgent message arrived from the Dominion's Wrath. Commander Seller's voice was tense but firm. "Captain, we've uncovered something on the ship, an encrypted data core hidden within the reactor chamber. It's not Nihila tech. It predates even the oldest Zatrax archives." Lena's eyes gleamed. This could be the key to understanding the true origin of the Nihilas, and maybe the Zatrax themselves. The revelation shook the fragile alliance. Secrets buried for eons were surfacing, threatening to rewrite their understanding of the cosmos. But amid the hope, a darker truth lingered. Thalix's betrayal was not isolated. Shadows within their ranks still whispered, and the Nihila's motives were far more sinister than simple conquest. As Unity and the Zatrax fleet jumped into hyperspace toward the mysterious star system, a silent vow echoed through the command decks: to uncover the secrets of the past, to face the lurking threats ahead, and to forge a future where humanity and alien civilizations could stand united. In the final moments before the jump, Captain Grant turned to General Varkos. "This is more than a battle for survival," he said quietly. "It's the beginning of a new chapter, for all of us." Varkos nodded, the hardened warrior touched by a rare spark of hope. As the stars streaked past in a cascade of light, the universe held its breath. The alien Armada had been doomed, but Earth's first contact was only the first step in a journey that would change everything. And in the shadows beyond the stars, something ancient watched, waiting for its time to awaken.